So for a while now, I've been trying to learn color grading in DaVinci. I spend a lot of time, like probably most of you have, watching professional color gradists um, whip out some ARRI and red footage and then show you how they add their nodes and color grade it. That's great, but I'd like to see them try to use cheaper cameras so that way I can compare it to my own Blackmagic 6K. And like most of us with a Sigma 18 to 35 or something. Of course, ARRI and red's going to have more dynamic range and you can bend it all over the place, and it already looks good at a camera. So I've been looking for a little bit of help because the color grading just doesn't come out the way I want. It feels like I get it close, but it just doesn't feel like that finished product. I want to see, I shoot a lot of cosplay stuff, so even when I do cosplay videos, a lot of times we're doing maybe a scene or a tribute to a movie or a TV show. So I literally have a reference right in front of me. So not being able to reach it and match it kind of bugs me. So Dehancer is a plugin that I've known about for a while. I just never had a chance to use it. And before that, I had a couple other plugins that were supposed to give things more of a film look. And to me, they just added like grain or did something like that, but it didn't really seem to change the look. It just took my color grade, which probably wasn't the best, and then just added noise to it or grain, and it didn't do it. So I was pretty surprised by Dehancer. I mean, I kind of expected to do things, but you never know. I mean, it's hard to listen to people on YouTube, no pun intended. But I wanted to kind of show you, using Blackmagic footage that's already Rec 709, a lot of it I shot before, and I thought, okay, this is as good as I can get it, and I want to see if Dehancer can help me take it the rest of the way. So let's take a look. Okay, so here's some random clips that I've recorded over time and tried to match as much as I could with the knowledge I have. But let's see what the difference would be if we throw some Dehancer on there. I've already added it to my favorites, so it makes it a little easier to find. Now, right off the bat, it's kind of nice because it already has Rec 709. If you had a camera, if I was, this was raw footage, I could go through and find what I was looking for. I'm not going to pretend to know what every little scientific thing is. I don't care that much. I just like filmmaking, creating videos, and I want the overall look done. It's kind of like when I was a musician, I liked writing songs and I liked playing instruments. But when I went in the studio, just give me my results, right? But we don't all have a colorist and around to help us do things. So we have to do it on our own and try to get as close as we can get. And that's the point of Dehancer, to try to at least get me where I want to go. So what I have here is some reference files. So I can kind of see the way the movie looks compared to what I have, right? And if you look at my original color grade, it's very yellow and golden. Now, a lot of it, I didn't have the backlight to get that bloom and that highlight in his hair, because that movie Labyrinth was shot like with studio lights. And the wig's a little bit softer and stuff. But when you look at the foliage, look at the birds, look at the sky, that's kind of what I'm looking to match. And that more gold kind of feel rather than my yellow kind of thing. So I'm going to go through here and just kind of see what I get, if I can get closer to it. Now, the one thing I've noticed when I'm doing this, I mean, right off the bat, I've only gone a couple. It's got all these film stocks, and I've only gone a few. And that already looks pretty cool. But I've noticed a couple times I might have to go back on my original node and kind of mess with it. But I'm looking at the colors. I'm looking at the leaves here. See, I might have to go back over here and maybe bring this down a little bit, adjust my exposure. And then, of course, maybe come over here. I like this film compression. It usually takes, like if you look in the shirt area over here, kind of softens all the highlights. which feels more like you're getting more dynamic range. Print, I'm not sure. I haven't clicked on that yet. Film grain has, I mean, this is an older movie. The one thing I've noticed is you definitely have to run a noise reduction on your footage to begin with, because when I already had noise going on in my footage and then I added film grain, it just kind of felt a little too much. So you want to clean it up before you do it. But there is a lot of options here. So if you don't want to go too crazy, but you just want a little pinch of it, then you can go ISO 50. Halation, that really shows depending on how much bright light you got around you. But this feels definitely bloom. I mean, it's not going to be as soft as whatever the hell they're using, but that was the sharpest frame I could find. And the lighting is still horrible. It's all backlit, but his face is like just kind of red and doesn't really look that good to me. But I'm trying to match it, not judge it. So let's do that. Back over to my, I love the fact that I can just go through there and just kind of use my mouse wheel to see what I like here. I just like to go through all of them, see if anything's close, and then tweak it if it needs to be. Looking at that sky, looking at the bushes. I mean, these take it pretty close. I always end up with this Fuji color. The few times I've tried this, I know everybody goes towards like the Kodak. I don't know if I mean, you can see the red tones in the face there. More of a gold color. Maybe the sky, but that's, you know, that's more of a grading thing more than it is. Let's see. Not bad. I mean, they've got more reds in their jacket and stuff, but I mean, if you look at the bushes, it almost looks like it's kind of part of the same movie, right? Now, I mean, I could keep going and dabbling, but let's just see what we have there. And a lot of it's lens. I mean, I'm not shooting with what they're shooting with too, but so if I take that off, that's what I had before. And that's the thing about Dehancer that I think is really crazy is I'm going through thinking, oh yeah, mine looks pretty good. I mean, that's a big change. It almost feels like it, I mean, I don't know as far as giving it the film look by having like bloom and things like that, but it seems to also kind of fix my color grade, which is really helpful because I was settling for that. And that looks a hell of a lot better. And I just went through a couple film stocks. I didn't go through them all. I didn't tweak my color grade. I didn't do anything. Let's move on to the next one here. So this, obviously, this is my friend Allison Tabitha, big time cosplayer girl. This, obviously, you can kind of tell what this is from. So we have a Death Star, we have Obi-Wan, and we have a reference. So when you look over at Star Wars, and it's really hard to judge. I wish this was the original, but this is probably like the 8th digital version that Lucas has ever done. But at least it gives us an idea of kind of where to go. I mean, I just slapped that on there. It goes to Kodak Vision 250D, but not saying that that's close, but I mean, just immediately, as soon as you start messing with it, it already feels like something cool. See, look, when I turn this off, not that that's the finished thing, but it starts to feel like my camera just got a lot more expensive, is what it feels like. So let's take this over here and we'll go through and kind of see what comes a little close. Well, the other thing to remember is I might have to go back and drop my contrast a little bit too. Bring my blacks back down. Maybe not that much, but then you look at like the dark walls there compared to my walls. Maybe bring this up a little bit. I think it's a cross between trying to match the footage, but also going, you know what? I think I could do a little better as far as what I would like to see, because look at that. And when I look at that, he almost looks like sepia tone because he's wearing all brown, of course, on the blue background. Whereas this just feels like, now he's not wearing, or she's not wearing the white like he has, the same outfit, but then you can kind of see where I started. So I thought that was good. And then I added Dehancer and then brought my stuff down again. Now, there is a ton of film stocks in here, and I swear I hardly even got down a quarter of the way before I'm already going, okay, that looks really cool. I'm done. So let's see if there's other things that could have worked. That has more of a teal feel to it, so that could have worked too. But it just takes that, it transforms that digital feel, and it really helps me see my video as something more professional. And I didn't have to have, I've got two nodes here, really. I mean, even if this was raw footage, I might have a couple color adjustments or something like that. But it's nice because you can throw Dehancer on there and then go back and then color grade around Dehancer and see what it looks like. All right, so I was back up here at the Fuji, so I'm horrible with memory, so trying to remember where the hell I was. That's probably it right there. Film compression. Let's see here. Film grain. I mean, I guess if you want it to look like an old movie. Well, it depends on if you're going for digital or the original. If we're going for the original, then you're probably looking at some big bloom for the background. That helps. Let's say we just found the original recording. We're watching it at the drive-in, so we're using their new film damage stuff, and that's on Super 16. If I take it down to 8, it's probably going to look like, yeah, let's take that up to Super 35, which is what the black magic is. Could probably even go, now that I see it in light a little bit, probably even go a little bit darker. Yeah, I mean, there's probably a little couple color tweaks I probably do here, but I started at that. And for some reason I was like, oh yeah, that looks good to go. I think it's just that you have that blue, the teal orange kind of thing embedded in your head because everybody's always talking about it, that you just immediately going to your color settings and start yanking your shadows to teal and you're raising your highlights to orange. And what I like about Dehancer is when I put it on there, I'm not thinking which way is the color grade. I'm just going, that looks cool. That looks like what I want it to look like. I mean, in a case like this where I'm doing, cosplay stuff, it's real easy to go, does it feel like the actual movie? Now, it's always going to be hard to kind of watch your own stuff and see it the way somebody else would. But this right here, we did a Last of Us 2 kind of tribute. And this comes off warmer than I remember it being warmer. So I don't remember what happened with the color grade or why I did it that way, but let's see if Dehancer can. I mean, look at that already. It's just no more orange face. And I haven't done nothing yet. Let's go all the way back up to the top. Let's just dabble. I mean, it just makes me, it makes you kind of proud of your footage again. To see the potential of it. See if we can find something that's, I mean, it's supposed to be a sad kind of song here. So let's see if we bring this down. What we get. Now this is a different shot, so I'd probably have to do that a little different, but let's go, keep going. Maybe. That's pretty cool. The other cool thing here is they've got a, where is it? Under Film Developer, I think it is. Yeah, where you can enable it and kind of boost your colors up a little bit. Mess with your gamma, contrast boost, color separation. See, now I can see that when I originally did it, I didn't really need to bring it down like that much. Maybe pull this up a little bit. But see, now I'm basically adjusting my exposure around Dehancer instead of just trying to throw it on there and expect it to do everything. But again, I'm not going through and choosing every one of them. But look at the difference. I mean, you can see it like in the arm here. I'm sure the film grain really kind of adds a little bit more punch to it as well, but I just like what it did to the hair, the skin tones. It just blends them all together a little better. All right, let's try this one. Okay, this is another little project I shot, and I was really trying to make this look like a cool science fiction movie. But the problem is, again, it still feels like a video camera to me, and it's green screen, so it still needs that extra. Now, some people, I'm sure they put Dehancer on there and just try to let Dehancer do everything. Me, it's like, I don't mind messing with the color grade myself, but I need that extra punch. And I like the fact that even if DaVinci, DaVinci has a lot of these tools built in, that I have them right here, that I can just go through and add everything I need. So let's go back to our film stock and see if anything kind of hits. I mean, that's cool right there. I mean, I swear I never even get like more than a few down before I'm already like landing on one. Because if it's a science fiction, say Alien, something a little bit more gritty, then you kind of want more green hues in here. See what the difference is. That starts to feel a little cinematic there. I guess we could keep going just to see. Wow, okay. I don't even know what the hell this is. Astrum color negative. Yeah, I like that one. That would immediately add some punch to it. Cinestil 800. That looks cool. There's a lot of these I could have worked with. Fuji, okay. Yeah, I'm almost afraid to like keep going because I'm afraid I'm just going to run into stuff like I'll forget where I was on the really good one. But a lot of these just work so well that I don't think I'd even have to worry about it. I'm sure I could find something. That's a really Kodak. Let's see. That's a bit dark, but that's also because I went and messed with my nodes here. So if I took this and added this, let's go down. Monitor, false color. That's a lot of dark. But in a spooky movie, sure. I haven't tried the LUT generator, but it'd be kind of nice if I could slap that on my camera. Film damage, we don't need. Bloom. I guess bloom's all right. I mean, I can see that getting overboard. Halation. As long as it's not killing it too much. I tend to go down to 50 on the noise. I mean, in the film grain. I'd see that. Let's see what the difference is. I think the other problem I have with color grading too is I tend to want to lift my blacks up a lot because of photography, where people would go to a printer and the pictures would always come off too dark. So I'd always want to like kind of lift the blacks up enough just so if you printed them. But you know, since I started calibrating my monitors, I don't worry about it as much. But I don't have any references for movies on this one, so I'm just going by eye, and you guys could tell me if it's cool or if you would have chosen another one. But that looks cool. All right. I think this one I actually did. I don't know if I had a reference on this. Oh, no, I didn't. So I guess this is another one that's... I don't have a screenshot on the Netflix show, but... I thought this one, you know, it looks pretty cool, but it looks like a photo. Like a clean photo. So let's see. Go back up to the top. If we can get something a little bit more filmic. And I might have to mess with my exposure a little bit too. I mean, if you end up getting Dehancer yourself, you might see little, you know, certain film stocks that I'm on that you're like, damn, I got to try that one. So if you get it, then, you know, you might already have ideas of which one you would have chosen in the first place. So let's see what the difference is here. So that's what I had. See, I don't think there's anything really wrong with what I had. I think it was just too colorful. I mean, not colorful, but just too clean. Kill some of those highlights a little bit. Let's take the film grain back down to 50. Halation. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you have to add everything just because everything is there. Like sometimes bloom to me is a little too dreamy. Take this down here. Let's see. Well, I can see where it added the grain. I can see what it did to the front. Let's see if we keep going, if we find another one that's... That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good if you're trying to do something a little bit more muddy, a little bit more Netflixy. mean, you can kind of go whichever way you want, depending on your footage. So definitely adds a lot more punch to it. Yeah, that would definitely be something I'd want to tweak. Now, this is this is the last one I'm going to do, just to kind of show you enough varied footage. But this was shot in Canada, so we had this whole Wild West thing we were doing, and I was like, wow, look, I've got mountains. She's in costume. This has got to be easy to make it look like a Western, like a real Western. And it doesn't, which sucks. So let's see if Dehancer just helps me. And a lot of times it's not just the colors, it's just that the overall texture of it. I mean, that looks pretty cool right there. Let's see if we bring this down. Maybe bring it down even more. I mean, to me, that already looks 100 times better. And I'm not doing anything drastic. I'm just going through film stocks. I haven't gone through and added bloom or anything. Let's see if I add, I like that, because that snow is pretty blinding. Film grain, I mean, you could leave it like that, I guess, if you wanted to, but relation's good. You just have to be careful with it because it can tend to make everything kind of orange. So I'm going to leave it off. Bloom, that's a little too dreamy. Maybe add some film developer and boost my color a little bit. I'm not really going for that traditional sepia tone looking thing. This isn't really like a deserty, the plains kind of thing. This is, should have a little bit more color. Let's see what the difference is here. All right, so we have this on the side here. Let's crop it and let's take a look and see what the difference is. So on the right is Dehancer, and on the left is what I thought was cool. I mean, look at that. If on the right, I should be at a drive-in watching this Western. On the left, it looks like my white balance or something is off. Crazy. That's crazy. I should have jumped on this friggin' Dehancer train a long time ago, but it probably would have saved me with a lot of these. Now I want to go back and add it to a lot of all these older videos and try to put them up to where I wanted them to be. Wow. Anyway, I just thought I'd share my first time getting to really dive into it and try it out and not throw a big super pro colorist review at you and just kind of give you the normal person using cool plugin. So hopefully you got something out of it, but if you're looking for something, this thing's pretty awesome.